Clarity of goals is where everything begins. It is the foundation upon which every dream, every plan, and every achievement is built. Without clarity, even the greatest potential remains dormant, wasted in confusion and distraction. You see, most people think they have goals, but what they really have are vague wishes. I want to be successful. I want to be rich. I want to be happy. But those statements are not goals. They are only directions without destinations. A true goal has precision. It tells you exactly where you're going, how you'll know when you've arrived, and why you're going there in the first place. When you're clear about what you want, the universe starts to cooperate. Opportunities that were invisible suddenly become visible. You begin to notice people, ideas, and paths that align with your intention. But when your goals are foggy, even the best chances pass by unnoticed because you simply weren't looking in the right direction. Clarity creates focus, and focus creates power. A person with clear goals is like a laser, sharp, directed, unstoppable. A person without them is like a flashlight in daylight, shining, but ineffective. The truth is, clarity doesn't come by accident. It comes from reflection. It comes from asking yourself the hard questions. What do I really want from my life? What do I want to contribute? What kind of person do I want to become? You can't borrow someone else's goals and expect them to fulfill you. If your goals come from pressure, comparison, or imitation, they'll never ignite the passion needed to pursue them. The only goals that drive you for years are the ones that come from deep within your own values and beliefs. Clarity also demands honesty, brutal honesty. You must look at your life as it is, not as you wish it to be. Where are you now? What's missing? What have you been avoiding? Only when you acknowledge your current reality can you begin to map the journey to where you want to go. If you lie to yourself about your situation, your goals become fantasies instead of blueprints. Once you start defining your goals, write them down. Writing forces precision. It transforms an idea into a commitment. When a goal lives only in your head, it can shift with your mood. But when it's on paper, it becomes real. It stares back at you and demands accountability. And don't just write it once, revisit it often. Rewrite it as you evolve. A goal should grow with you, not remain frozen in time. The more you engage with it, the more energy you give it. Clarity is also about understanding why you want what you want. The why gives emotional fuel to your goals. Without it, the first obstacle will break your spirit. When you have a strong why, no challenge feels permanent, no delay feels final. If your goal is to earn more money, ask yourself why. Is it freedom? Is it security? Is it contribution? The deeper your reason, the stronger your resolve. The clearer your why, the more powerful your how. Many people fail not because their goals were too high, but because they were too vague. I want to get in shape is a weak goal. I want to lose 10 kilograms in 90 days by exercising 5 times a week and following a clean meal plan. That's clarity. One creates energy, the other creates excuses. When you know the exact target, you can measure your progress, adjust your strategy, and stay motivated. Clarity also simplifies decision-making. Life constantly throws distractions your way, opportunities that look appealing but don't align with your direction. When your goals are clear, saying no becomes easy. You stop chasing every shiny thing that passes by. You stop being busy and start being effective. Every decision becomes filtered through one question. Does this move me closer to my goal or further away? And let's be honest, clarity is rare because it requires slowing down. We live in a world obsessed with speed. Everyone's running, but few know where they're going. Clarity demands stillness. It demands thinking time. It's the quiet conversation between you and your future self. You can't find it in noise, in scrolling, in comparison. You find it in solitude, in journaling, in honest reflection. Once you have that clarity, confidence follows. You stop doubting whether you're capable because you finally know what you're aiming for. Fear doesn't disappear, but it loses power. Doubt doesn't vanish, but it stops driving the car. You realize that uncertainty is just part of the path, not a signal to quit. That's what clarity does. It steadies you. It becomes your compass in chaos. It's worth remembering that clarity isn't something you find once and keep forever. Life changes. You change. What mattered 5 years ago might not matter today. So review your goals often. Ask yourself, is this still what I want? Am I pursuing this out of passion or habit? Clarity requires maintenance, just like success requires effort. At the end of the day, clarity of goals is about ownership. It's about taking full responsibility for the direction of your life. You stop blaming luck, circumstances, or people. You realize that if it's to be, it's up to you. You start living with intention instead of reaction. A clear goal gives your energy a destination, your time a purpose, and your life a meaning. Without it, you drift. With it, you drive. And the moment you decide what you truly want, not someday, but now, that's the moment your life begins to change. Because clarity doesn't just light the path forward, it lights a fire within you that no obstacle can extinguish. A goal, no matter how inspiring, is just a dream until you create a plan. A plan is the bridge between imagination and achievement. It's the structure that turns vague desire into measurable progress. You can have the most beautiful vision of your future, but if you don't know how to get there, it remains nothing more than a fantasy. The world is full of people with dreams, but very few have plans. And that's the difference between those who talk about success and those who actually achieve it. A plan gives your goals a roadmap. It answers the question, how will I get there? Without it, you wander, you guess, and eventually you give up. You see, life rewards those who are deliberate. The person who sits down, thinks, and designs a step-by-step path is already halfway to victory before taking the first step. Because clarity of direction gives confidence, and confidence fuels consistent action. But creating a plan doesn't mean you need to have every detail figured out. It means you know the general route and the next few steps ahead. Too many people wait for perfect conditions before they begin. They think they need certainty before they take action. But perfection is a trap. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a working plan. One that grows with you, adjusts with experience, and evolves as you learn. Success is not about predicting everything, it's about preparing to adapt. A real plan is measurable. It breaks big goals into smaller, doable tasks. You can't climb a mountain in one giant leap. You do it one step at a time. Each small win fuels your motivation and gives you evidence that progress is happening. When you can measure your movement, you stay encouraged. Without milestones, you lose track of how far you've come and how close you are to where you want to be. A plan also creates accountability. When your path is written down, when deadlines and checkpoints exist, you no longer have excuses. A plan demands action. It turns the abstract into the concrete. You can't lie to yourself anymore. You either did what you said you'd do, or you didn't. That's the kind of truth that builds character. It sharpens your discipline. It separates dreamers from doers. The most successful people don't rely on motivation. They rely on structure. Motivation fades. Discipline, backed by a solid plan, endures. When you have a plan, you don't wake up every day wondering what to do. You already know. The plan guides your time, your focus, and your energy. And because you've already made the hard decisions in advance, your mind is free to execute instead of hesitate. But remember, a plan is only as strong as the action behind it. Some people love planning so much that they never actually begin. They spend months organizing, perfecting, and tweaking every little detail, waiting for the right time. That's not planning, that's procrastination disguised as productivity. The real power of planning is in execution, taking the next step even when you're not fully ready. Because once you start moving, the plan reveals itself in new ways. Each action gives you feedback, and feedback refines the plan. Life will always test your plan. Circumstances will change. Unexpected challenges will show up. But that doesn't mean your plan failed, it means you're in the process of refining it. The goal remains the same, but the route may change. Flexibility is strength. Rigidity breaks under pressure. Adaptability bends and continues forward. A wise person doesn't abandon the plan when things go wrong. They adjust it and keep going. A plan also teaches patience. It reminds you that everything worthwhile takes time. When you see the steps laid out, you realize there's a process, and that process cannot be rushed. Most people quit not because the dream was impossible, but because they underestimated the time it takes. A plan helps you stay grounded in reality while keeping your eyes on possibility. It keeps you from expecting overnight miracles, and instead builds you into the kind of person who can sustain success when it arrives. And make no mistake, a good plan not only guides your actions but also protects your focus. It keeps distractions away. Every day you're faced with endless choices, new ideas, side projects, and temptations that promise faster results. A clear plan keeps you anchored. It whispers, stay the course. You start recognizing what truly matters versus what just looks exciting for the moment. The beauty of a plan is that it turns ordinary days into meaningful steps. You might not see progress every single day, but when you stick to the plan, you're always moving forward, even when it doesn't feel like it. The key is consistency. Small, consistent effort beats massive bursts of temporary enthusiasm every time. A well-made plan keeps you consistent because it eliminates confusion. You know what needs to be done, and you do it. To create an effective plan, you must also understand your priorities. Not all actions carry equal weight. Some steps move you forward faster, others just keep you busy. The purpose of planning is to focus your energy on the actions that truly matter. When you identify the few critical steps that have the biggest impact, you multiply your results. Ultimately, planning is a form of respect for your goals, for your time, and for your future self. It's saying, I'm serious about what I want, and I'm willing to organize my life to get it. Most people drift through life reacting to whatever comes their way. But the ones who win are the ones who decide in advance what matters and then design their days around it. A plan gives you power because it turns uncertainty into clarity. It transforms fear into focus, and it gives you something rare in this world, direction. When you have a plan, you stop being at the mercy of circumstances and start being the author of your destiny. Because success doesn't belong to those who wait for the perfect moment. It belongs to those who plan, act, adapt, and persist until the goal becomes reality. Every dream has a price. Every ambition, every vision, every meaningful goal demands something from you. Nothing of real value comes free. The sooner you understand this truth, the sooner you stop wishing for an easy path and start preparing for the right one. The price of success is not hidden, it's simply ignored. People see the glory, but they don't see the grind. They admire the results, but they don't recognize the countless sacrifices that built them. The price is the part of the story most people never tell, yet it's the most important part of all. When you decide to chase a goal, you must also decide to accept the cost. The price may come in the form of long hours, lost comfort, missed entertainment, rejection, failure, or even isolation. You might have to give up certain habits, people, or pleasures. You might have to stay disciplined when everyone else is relaxing. You might have to stay silent while others are celebrating. But that's the price, and those who pay it win. Too often people want the prize without the process. They want the trophy without the training, the income without the effort, the respect without the results. But life doesn't work that way. You don't get to skip the payment. The universe always collects its due. The difference between winners and dreamers is that winners accept the cost up front, while dreamers argue with it forever. Winners say, I'll do whatever it takes. Dreamers say, there must be an easier way. The price is what separates the interested from the committed. If you're only interested in success, you'll do what's convenient. You'll show up when you feel good, you'll try hard until it gets uncomfortable, and then you'll stop. But if you're committed, you'll do whatever needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. You'll show up tired, you'll work through fear, you'll persist after failure. Because you understand that success is not bought with comfort, it's bought with consistency. Paying the price doesn't mean suffering blindly, it means investing wisely. Every hour you spend learning, improving, and building your dream is not a loss. It's a down payment on your future. The price is not punishment, it's preparation. It's what makes you ready for the life you're asking for. You can't handle the rewards of success until you've developed the discipline that earns them. The struggle shapes you into the person capable of sustaining what you achieve. Think of it this way: the bigger the dream, the higher the cost. Small goals demand small sacrifices. Big dreams require you to give more of yourself, more time, more focus, more resilience. That's why most people settle for less. It's not that they can't achieve more, it's that they don't want to pay more. They want to stay comfortable and still win big. But comfort and greatness never coexist. One will always destroy the other. There's a truth that most ignore. You will pay a price no matter what. If you chase your goals, you'll pay with effort, discipline, and persistence. If you don't chase them, you'll pay with regret, frustration, and what ifs. You either experience the pain of growth now or the pain of regret later. And regret is always the more expensive option. The price of discipline weighs ounces, but the price of regret weighs tons. When you commit to paying the price, something powerful happens. You stop fighting reality. You stop complaining that life is unfair or that success is hard. You start embracing the challenge as part of the process. You realize that the cost is what makes success meaningful. If it were easy, it wouldn't change you. If it were cheap, it wouldn't feel valuable. The struggle gives the reward its worth. Many people quit because they think paying the price means losing something important. But the truth is, you're not losing anything, you're trading up. You're exchanging short-term comfort for long-term fulfillment. You're trading distractions for direction. You're trading ease for excellence. Every sacrifice you make now compounds into something greater later. The price you pay today becomes the freedom you enjoy tomorrow. Paying the price also builds respect, not from others, but from yourself. Every time you follow through, even when it's tough, you strengthen your self-trust. You prove to yourself that your word means something. That inner confidence becomes unshakable. You no longer depend on external validation because you know what you've endured to reach where you are. That's a power that can't be bought. It must be earned. The price also filters out the pretenders. When the road gets hard, only the serious remain. The temporary crowd disappears, leaving behind the few who truly mean it. That's when you know you're in the right company. Among those who work when no one's watching, who push when no one's cheering, and who believe when no one's clapping. It's important to remember that the price doesn't have to be paid all at once. You pay it day by day, moment by moment, decision by decision. Each time you choose discipline over distraction, purpose over pleasure, growth over comfort, you're making another payment toward your goal. Over time, these small payments add up to something extraordinary. That's how greatness is built, not in one grand act, but in 1,000 small choices that no one sees. So the question is never, can I achieve it? The real question is, am I willing to pay the price? Because the moment you decide that you will, without conditions, without excuses, your future is no longer uncertain. The path may still be hard, but your outcome becomes inevitable. In the end, success always demands its price, but it also delivers its reward. The grind, the sacrifice, the patience, it all comes back multiplied. The sleepless nights turn into proud mornings. The failures turn into wisdom. The pain turns into strength. The price you pay doesn't just buy success, it buys transformation. You become more focused, more capable, more confident. And that, more than anything else, is worth every bit of the cost. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is the daily commitment that connects your dreams to reality. Without discipline, even the best goals and most detailed plans crumble into nothing. You can be full of talent, ambition, and intelligence, but if you lack discipline, you'll always fall short of your potential. Discipline is what transforms intention into action and action into results. It's the quiet, consistent force that does the heavy lifting long after motivation has faded away. Motivation is easy to find when things are new and exciting. The first few days of chasing a dream often feel inspiring. But as time passes, the excitement fades and life begins to test your resolve. Discipline is what keeps you moving when the mood disappears. It's what makes you show up when no one's watching, what makes you do the work when no one's cheering, and what makes you stick to the plan when everything in you wants to quit. Motivation might get you started, but discipline is what keeps you going. Discipline is not about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable, boring, or inconvenient. The disciplined person doesn't rely on feelings, they rely on decisions. They know that every day will not be easy, but they also know that every small effort counts. Success is rarely the result of one grand action. It's built on 1,000 small choices made with consistency. Discipline gives you control over those choices. When you practice discipline, you take command of your time, your habits, and your emotions. You stop being driven by impulse and start being guided by intention. Most people fail not because they lack ability, but because they let their emotions lead. They work when they feel like it and stop when they don't. But the truth is, your feelings are unreliable. If you only act when it's convenient, you'll never go far. Discipline teaches you to act on commitment, not convenience. The bridge of discipline is built with routines. Routines are powerful because they remove decision fatigue. When your day is structured, you don't waste energy wondering what to do next. You already know. You create habits that serve your goals automatically. Over time, those habits compound into extraordinary results. The person who consistently follows a disciplined routine doesn't need to rely on willpower every day. Their habits take over. And that's where real freedom begins. When discipline becomes your natural rhythm. Discipline also demands sacrifice. To stay on course, you'll have to give up some comfort, distractions, and short-term pleasures. You can't move forward while holding on to everything that keeps you comfortable. Discipline asks you to trade what you want now for what you want most. It's not an easy trade, but it's always worth it. Every time you say to temptation, you strengthen your ability to say yes to purpose. Every time you delay gratification, you build mental toughness. It's also important to understand that discipline is not punishment. It's a form of self-respect. It's choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term satisfaction. When you practice discipline, you're telling yourself, I am worth the effort. My goals matter enough to stay consistent. Many people see discipline as restriction, but in truth, it's liberation. It frees you from chaos, from guilt, and from regret. It gives you control over your destiny. Discipline is what allows you to keep promises, especially the ones you make to yourself. Every time you follow through, your confidence grows. You start to trust yourself. You begin to realize that you can rely on your own word. That trust creates momentum, and momentum creates belief. Suddenly, you don't need to convince yourself you can do it. You know you can because you've proven it through action. There will be days when you fall short, and that's okay. Discipline doesn't mean you never fail, it means you never give up. The disciplined person learns from mistakes and adjusts. They understand that missing one step doesn't mean abandoning the journey. What matters is getting back on track quickly. Consistency doesn't require perfection, it requires persistence. The disciplined keep going, not because they never stumble, but because they never stay down. Discipline also builds strength in other areas of life. When you learn to control your habits, you learn to control your mind. You stop chasing instant rewards and start appreciating delayed gratification. You stop seeking shortcuts and start trusting the process. You realize that progress is often invisible, that growth happens quietly beneath the surface while others are looking for quick results. Discipline gives you patience. It teaches you that success is earned inch by inch, day by day. The bridge of discipline is not built overnight. It's built slowly, with repetition. It begins with small actions, waking up when the alarm rings, sticking to your workout, reading that extra page, finishing that task before resting. These small victories create momentum. They stack up and reshape your identity. One day, you look back and realize you've become the kind of person who doesn't need to be pushed anymore. You've become self-driven. That's the power of discipline. It doesn't just change your habits, it changes who you are. You can't delegate discipline. No one can do it for you. You can have the best mentor, the best tools, the best environment, but if you don't hold yourself accountable, nothing changes. Discipline is personal. It's the quiet conversation you have with yourself in those moments of choice. When you ask, will I do what I said I'd do? And the answer you give in those moments defines everything. Discipline is the bridge because it connects dreams to reality, hope to achievement, potential to performance. Without it, you're left standing on one side of the river, watching your goals on the other bank, wishing for a way across. But with discipline, you build that bridge, step by step, action by action. It might take time, it might test your patience, but eventually it gets you there. When the excitement fades, when the journey feels long, and when the results take longer than expected, that's when discipline becomes your greatest ally. It reminds you why you started. It keeps you grounded when doubt creeps in. It whispers, keep going. You're closer than you think. And that's why discipline matters. Because dreams are beautiful, plans are necessary, but only discipline has the power to make them real. Commitment is what separates those who wish from those who achieve. It is the unwavering decision to stay the course, no matter how uncomfortable or inconvenient the journey becomes. Success demands commitment, a full, unconditional agreement with yourself that you will not quit, no matter how long it takes or how hard it gets. The truth is, most people love the idea of success, but few are truly committed to the process. They want the reward, but they hesitate when it comes to the responsibility. Commitment is what turns a dream into a destiny. When you commit, you remove the option of escape. You stop looking for shortcuts or easy ways out. You stop saying, "I'll try," and start saying, "I will." That small shift changes everything. Because when you're only interested in your goal, you'll do what's convenient. But when you're committed, you'll do whatever it takes. You'll work through pain, boredom, and doubt. You'll keep showing up, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. That's the power of commitment. It makes you unstoppable, not because you never feel weak, but because you refuse to give in to weakness. Commitment over comfort is the mindset of every person who has ever achieved something extraordinary. Comfort is the enemy of growth. It lures you into mediocrity by whispering that you've done enough, that it's okay to slow down, that you deserve to rest before you've earned it. Comfort feels safe, but it quietly steals your potential. Commitment, on the other hand, demands discomfort. It pushes you into uncertainty, into effort, into discipline. And that's where you grow. Every breakthrough you'll ever experience lies just beyond your comfort zone. The moment you commit, you draw a line in the sand. You declare to yourself and to the world that failure is not an option. You might fall, but you'll get back up. You might take detours, but you'll never turn back. Commitment is not a feeling, it's a choice. A daily, deliberate choice to honor your word even when it's no longer exciting. Feelings fluctuate. Commitment doesn't. You don't stay committed because you always feel motivated. You stay committed because you've made a promise to yourself that's bigger than your emotions. Real commitment also demands consistency. Anyone can work hard for a day, a week, or even a month, but true commitment is proven over time. It's in the mornings when you wake up tired and still get the job done. It's in the evenings when you'd rather relax, but you choose to make one more call, write one more page, take one more step. Those moments of quiet persistence define your destiny. The world doesn't reward the person who starts strong, it rewards the one who finishes strong. When you choose commitment over comfort, you also begin to see setbacks differently. You stop seeing challenges as reasons to quit and start seeing them as part of the process. Every obstacle becomes a test of your commitment. Each time you overcome one, your belief in yourself grows stronger. Failure doesn't break you, it builds you. Because when you're truly committed, failure is never final. It's just feedback, information that guides your next move. Commitment also brings clarity. Once you decide that quitting is not an option, your mind starts focusing on solutions instead of excuses. You stop wasting energy doubting yourself and start using that energy to find a way forward. You stop asking, "Can I do this?" and start asking, "How will I do this?" That shift in mindset opens doors. It changes the way you think, act, and respond to challenges. Commitment requires courage because it often means walking alone for a while. When you decide to stay dedicated while others give up, it can feel lonely. People may not understand your sacrifices. They might question your choices or doubt your vision. But that's the price of chasing something great. Not everyone will see what you see. You must believe in your goal even when no one else does. You must hold on to your vision when the results are still invisible. That's where commitment shines brightest, in the darkness before the breakthrough. There will be moments when quitting seems easier, when progress feels slow, and when everything in you screams for relief. In those moments, remember that comfort will never give you what commitment can. Comfort gives you temporary pleasure, commitment gives you lasting pride. Comfort gives you the illusion of peace, commitment gives you real freedom. You can't build a meaningful life on convenience. You build it on consistency, sacrifice, and faith in your purpose. Commitment also strengthens your character. Every time you keep going despite the struggle, you build resilience. You learn to trust yourself, to rely on your own strength. You stop being controlled by circumstances and start being guided by conviction. You realize that discipline isn't a burden, it's a blessing. The more you commit, the more capable you become. The challenges that once scared you begin to look small compared to the strength you've developed along the way. True commitment doesn't mean you never rest or never doubt. It means that even in rest, your direction remains the same. Even in doubt, your effort continues. You may slow down, but you don't stop. You may pause, but you never turn back. Because commitment isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about finishing what you start, regardless of how long it takes. When you look at anyone who has built something remarkable, an athlete, an entrepreneur, a leader, an artist, you'll find one common thready commitment. They showed up when no one cared. They worked when no one noticed. They endured when no one believed. They refused to give up, even when it would have been easy to. That's what separated them from the rest. Not luck, not talent, commitment. At the end of the day, comfort is temporary. It disappears as soon as life demands more from you. But the satisfaction of commitment lasts forever. It gives your life meaning, direction, and purpose. Because when you commit fully to something, you're not just chasing success. You're becoming someone worthy of it. And that's the real reward. Not just reaching the goal, but becoming the kind of person who never quits, who honors their word, who keeps walking when others stop. That's the person who changes their life. That's the person who turns dreams into reality. And it all begins the moment you choose commitment over comfort and never look back. Transformation through effort is one of life's greatest truths. Every meaningful achievement, every moment of pride, and every version of your best self is built through the effort you put in day after day. You cannot evolve without struggle. You cannot grow without persistence. Transformation doesn't happen when it's easy. It happens when you keep going through the hard parts. Effort is the price you pay for becoming who you were meant to be. The world often celebrates the results, the success, the recognition, the reward, but it rarely shows the journey. It doesn't show the early mornings, the quiet sacrifices, the lonely nights, the moments of doubt, and the countless times someone chose to keep going instead of giving up. But those moments are where transformation is born. They are the invisible chapters of greatness, the places where strength, character, and purpose are built. Every effort you make leaves a mark. Even when it feels small, even when no one notices, your effort is shaping you. It's molding your habits, sharpening your mind, and building resilience in your heart. Every repetition, every failure, every lesson adds to your growth. Most people underestimate the power of small, consistent effort. They think change requires giant leaps, but the truth is it's built one quiet step at a time. The person who improves 1% each day becomes unrecognizable a year later. Transformation through effort also teaches you patience. We live in a world addicted to speed, quick success, instant results, overnight fame. But real change doesn't follow that timeline. It unfolds slowly beneath the surface, while you're working and wondering if it's even working. And then one day, it shows. One day, you wake up and realize you've become stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever thought you could be. The effort that once felt invisible suddenly reveals its value. Effort is the training ground for belief. The more effort you give, the more proof you create that you are capable. Every time you follow through, you show yourself that you can be trusted to act. And that trust becomes confidence. Not the loud, fragile confidence that depends on praise, but the quiet, unshakable kind that comes from knowing you've earned it. You can't fake that. You can't buy it. You can only build it through effort. There's a moment in every journey when you realize the goal matters less than the person you're becoming while chasing it. That's the real magic of transformation. You might start with a goal to earn more money, to get fit, to learn a skill. But along the way, you become disciplined, focused, and resilient. The external result is just a reflection of the internal change. You grow from the inside out. That's why the effort is so valuable, because it changes you at a deeper level than success ever could. Effort also has a way of revealing your true potential. Most people never discover what they're capable of because they stop too soon. They quit at the first sign of struggle, not realizing that the struggle itself is the doorway to their next level. When you push past the point where others stop, you tap into strength you didn't know you had. You realize that your limits were only illusions created by comfort. And once you break them, you never go back to who you were before. Transformation through effort requires persistence, but it also requires faith. You have to keep working even when you can't see the results yet. You have to believe that every ounce of energy you're giving is moving you closer to something worthwhile. Faith is what keeps your effort alive when progress is slow. It's the voice that says, keep going. It's not for nothing. The people who achieve great things aren't always the most talented. They're the ones who keep showing up when nothing seems to be working. Every effort you make creates momentum. It builds a rhythm that carries you forward. Even when you fail, your effort counts. Failure is not wasted effort. It's part of the refinement process. Each time you fall short, you learn something. You get feedback, you adjust, you come back smarter and stronger, and slowly, your persistence turns effort into excellence. What once felt impossible becomes second nature. That's transformation, the invisible shift from struggle to strength, from doubt to mastery. Effort also humbles you. It reminds you that nothing worthwhile comes easy. It keeps you grounded. When you've worked for something, you appreciate it differently. You don't take it for granted because you know what it cost. You've paid for it with time, with sweat, with patience. That gratitude deepens your joy. The harder the climb, the sweeter the view. And as you grow through effort, something else happens. You begin to inspire others. People notice consistency. They notice persistence. Your quiet determination becomes a light for someone else who's struggling. Without realizing it, your transformation becomes a story of hope for others. You show them that effort works, that perseverance pays off, that ordinary people can achieve extraordinary things if they just don't stop. But transformation through effort is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong process. There's always another level to reach, another version of yourself to become. Each goal you achieve becomes the foundation for the next. The process never ends, and that's what makes it beautiful. You keep evolving, not because you have to, but because growth itself becomes your way of life. The truth is, effort will test you. It will challenge your patience, your discipline, your resilience. It will make you question whether it's worth it. But if you stay the course, effort will reward you with something far greater than success. It will reward you with transformation. You will see the proof of your growth, not just in what you have, but in who you are. You'll realize that the real prize was never the goal. It was the person you became while pursuing it. In the end, transformation through effort is the essence of progress. It's how dreams take form, how purpose takes root, and how strength is built. You can't skip the work, and you wouldn't want to, because the work is what makes you capable of living the life you imagine. Every ounce of effort, every step forward, every moment of persistence adds to the masterpiece that is your becoming. And one day, when you look back, you'll see that every bit of effort was worth it. Because it didn't just change your life, it changed you.